Hi guys, it's Judy Bullymore here, employment specialist. I am so excited. I'm just in my preparation mode. I've got 20 minutes before I feel like I need to just finally get into the zone of the event that I'm going to be an expert panelist for, which is the Career Forum with Hayes, the big global recruiter. And I usually do this before I'm either about to appear on Knox TV, or if I'm preparing for a radio interview. I like to actually video and share the stuff that I do behind the scenes, because I treat this very similar to how it would be if you were interviewing. So, I'm going to be logging on in 45 minutes. So what I've done this morning is I took myself out and I had a really nice breakfast. And I got out of the house because I spend a lot of time in the house working from home. And the reason why I do that is to clear my head, to do something nice, and to not put too much pressure on myself. And then what I do is, closer to the time, I just try and get myself into a positive frame of mind where things are more likely to be fresh in my mind because I've just gone through them. And I say to myself, I know my stuff. It's too late to try and start acquiring information and doing research now. I've just got to commit that I know what I'm talking about, even if I don't. But I do. So now I'm going over some of the notes that were given to me about some of the topics that are likely to be covered. Now, this is going to be a discussion-based forum where we're just going to be having a nice chat. So out of all the different types of ways to be live, I think this is one of the better ones, because it's just a conversational approach, just sharing your ideas. And if we was going into a real kind of interview situation where I was interviewing for a job or something, this is the bit where I say you have quite a lot of power to change the way that the interview dynamics are. So if you want it to be more of a conversational approach rather than it feeling really formal, then talk in a conversational way and treat it like that. Treat it like I'm going to talk in my natural conversational way about my experience and my perspective. So that's another tip that I would give. If you feel like when you go into an interview, it's very nerve-wracking because you feel like you're not allowed to talk naturally and for it to feel like a conversation, you can do that. It's just the energy that you give off. So more relaxed energy is what I would encourage. I know that's easier said than done. So one of the questions that might come up is around negotiation. For people that may have been offered a promotion or a pay rise at a different company, how would they broach matching that offer or raising it with a manager? So what I'm doing is I'm just practicing my perspective. And what I do is I really try and very quickly put myself in the shoes of somebody, or using personal experience of when you're worthy of a pay rise or the next step, and you just need to pluck up the courage to have that conversation. So first things first, it's about believing that you can do it, that you deserve it, and that you can demonstrate that you can deserve it. And that's where you would have prepared, or you would have done your research and your homework really, which is, what are the things that you're doing that command a higher level or a higher wage? And how does that compare with other people in the sector, with people with similar positions? What is the added extra that you can give that maybe somebody else in your position might not have? Has there been unique obstacles that you've overcome? Have there been things that you've done well above your pay grade? Is there things that you implemented or ideas that you came up with that were really yours, and it's to do with your expertise, your perspective, your approach to things? It's about how determined and ready you feel and being able to communicate that So it could be that, you know, I've been in this position for X amount of time. I'm already working at the top of my pay scale because I already do X, Y, and Z, and I've achieved great success in it. For example, when I did X, Y, and Z. And actually, there's other companies like X, Y, and Z that actually pay this amount, or they provide these opportunities and this development. I feel like I'm really ready for this next step. And this is the bit where the passion comes in and the commitment comes in. The reason, the rationale as to why you feel you might be ready for that pay rise or that next step. And that could be to do with the fact that your career is hugely important to you. It's something that, you know, you would give 110% if you feel like it's appreciated and reciprocated. You feel like you have this talent and it needs to be stretched. It's a gift that you have, and it's not something that you want to lay dormant. You want to get better, you want to perfect it, and you want to get to the next. You are ambitious. You're allowed to admit that you're ambitious. But what will they gain with you being able to do that? Well, not only will you approach what you're doing with more vigor, more determination, but you really feel like it will generate, what will it generate for them? More business, more sales, more opportunities, more streamlining. Are you going to take on some responsibility that will then alleviate somebody else so that they can do something else that aligns with their business? Lots of different ways of demonstrating why you deserve and I'll say deserve that pay rise or that opportunity. So it's not just one thing, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of confidence. It's a mixture of having the proof and the evidence that you can do it. It's the fact that you've done some forward planning and you can demonstrate what they will gain if they were to give you these things. It's having that energy and that passion behind it. For that, it's got a good reason and rationale behind it. It's not just like, oh, I need to pay my bills and just feel like inflation means that I should have a pay rise. No, there's more to it than that. And being able to put it all together in a way that's really researched, really strategic, and feels like this is a genuine ask. So that's my perspective of how to negotiate. So I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but because I'm going through this with you, I hope you can see that this is what you could do when you're preparing and practicing for an interview. You could make up kind of mock questions and just have a go at just answering them in your way. And if you mess it up, it's in your video. You know what not to do next time or what bits to add. You can replay it. I actually don't advocate to replay your videos too much. I think it's more to do with the fact that you're practicing talking about yourself and just getting used to checking very lightly whether or not you're doing yourself justice. So when I look back at this, I'm just going to check that I feel like I'm giving off the energy that I really want, which is for whoever's listening to me to warm to me, to feel my perspective and my approaches, and to hopefully get something valuable from it. Okay, another thing that I might be asked. I was made redundant from a job a few years ago and I've been temping since. What can I do to show my skill set is still relevant, or will the time out of the industry stand against me? Okay, so anything to do with how do I show that I am really suited and aligned to this role. If you've got gaps in your history, if it's been a while since you've gone into this particular line of work, if you're this is a brand new sector and you're wondering how to demonstrate that you've got the skills from something that you did maybe a really long time ago, this is the approach that I would take. So first things first, you need to know what your core offer is and really commit to your core offer. So a core offer is an amalgamation of your personality, your traits, the things that you're known for, your reputation. It has your experience in there, things that you've done that enables you today to be able to do certain things. It's the accomplishments, the success that you've had in doing these things. So tangible success, like when I worked here or when I did that, this happened. We went from no clients at all to, an event with hundreds of people or whatever the impact is. So being able to demonstrate your impact. And then skills. Your skills are a mixture of what you can do. So, there's practical skills. Like I'm really great with IT. I can use these particular programs really proficiently. I can design on X, Y, and Z, or, specific practical skills that you've got that enable you to do a particular role. And then there's skills that are just like kind of traits. So for me, I'm really empathetic. That is skill, because what that means is I can engage with somebody and see their view from their perspective. And by me being able to do that pretty quickly, I know how to then tailor my approach and what things to consider so that the relationship and the connection between us will be stronger. That's great for relationship building. That's great for putting people at ease, perhaps in difficult situations. So being able to demonstrate like your relevance, the relevant skills, attributes, qualities, personality traits, all of those things, what I would really advise you to do is have a list of all of this stuff and then take it one step further. So if you've got a list of your skills and it says things like teamwork on it, or it might have IT on it, take it one step further by saying, well, what do these mean that I can do? And then after that, take it one step further again. What does it mean that I can do for them? So really, depending on how you think, you could have 3 columns of being able to tease out your relevant skills and a relevant experience. Again, you could do it for your personality. What have I got a reputation for? I'm known for being really bubbly. Okay, what does that mean that I can do? Well, it means that I can go into a room and light it up, quite frankly. Well, what does that mean for the employer? Well, that means that people will engage with you more. That means that you'll be able to maintain their reputation as a company who can have high engagement and high approachability, or whatever it might be. So there is a way of really taking what you have, whether it was acquired 20 years ago, doesn't matter, still means that you're still that person who can demonstrate all of these things. You want to put it together, tease it out as much as you can. And then when you've got this list of all the things that you can do, then you present it. So if it's in a CV or a resume or a document, that's when you work out what they need to see first. How can we put these all together so it's easy to see? How can we bring it to life with your personality? So if you're applying for something and they're taking an innovative, modern approach, let's make sure your resume or your CV looks quite modern and has a slash, a bit of colour in it, a bit of personality. If they're looking for something very specific, make sure that specific relevant experience or skills that you've got is really prominent in their face, first 2 lines, and then repeated like halfway down the page as well. So there's all different ways once you know what it is that's relevant. So does that answer the question? What can I do to show that my skill set is still relevant, or will the time out of the industry stand against me? Another thing just to add to that is your reasons why you might be changing industry or why you might have been out of a particular industry. And it's just making it really from the heart. it's not just, oh, I'm applying for this role because I want some development opportunities. I'm applying for this role because it makes sense, because the sector that I'm in is been affected by the pandemic. No, you're applying for this role because this particular sector absolutely lights you up. Why does it light you up? Why do you feel like your skills are going to get used really well in this position, in this sector? So it's just teasing it out again, one step further, the why. Why are you making this move? And actually, why did you have that gap? That gap could have been for really, really, you know, important reasons. You was raising a family. What's more important than that? Or, you know, you was taking the time to learn a new, maybe you was at doing a master's or something, or studying, or, you know, you was positioning yourself for the future. Maybe you had caring responsibilities. As long as like it's a reason that shows you and your substance, now is the best time to actually be doing something radical and changing sector. Employers are much more understanding of the reasons why people might be completely changing. And if you've been out of it, surely you will be more hungry to demonstrate that you're ready and that this is the time, this is your time to shine. So really, that's an easy thing to be able to demonstrate if you've been out of it. You've been actually preparing for this opportunity, and you feel absolutely confident that you're the one to prove and show them that they should choose you for this position and take a chance on you. Okay, where are we? 20 past. More questions. I've been in my profession for a decade, but I've discovered I have a passion for something completely different. How do I make a switch? How do you make a switch? Okay, my perspective on how to make a switch is, good question. The reason why I'm pausing on this question is because, and this is really good that I'm being able to talk this out, because I've got two perspectives here. One is, I genuinely believe that you should follow your heart and follow your passions. I really feel passionately that too many people waste their gifts for lots of reasons, practical reasons, like they've got responsibilities. Gosh, I need to close my blinds. For, you know, practical reasons, they didn't have the luxury of being able to pursue their, I don't know, their creativity, because they didn't know that there was money in it, you know, or they were forced into certain types of careers because that's what their family did and that's just the way it was, or just because how they've got responsibilities, how are they going to make that switch? So for me to then say, ditch all of that, follow your heart, that is a hard thing to do. But it's a real option that you could do and take on, and it really starts with a heart decision of whether or not you're ready and you feel like now is the time to just give your passions and yourself that almost like the permission to do it. But thinking really practically, and I'm a single mother, so I know how hard it is to follow your passions, but also have those responsibilities. So what I would say is other options to do could be to really work out what you would need to put in place to turn your true ambitions and passions into a reality. So does that mean that you would have to acquire a qualification? Does that mean that you need to acquire how to set up in business? Does that mean that you just need to grow in confidence? Does that mean that you need the actual time to put into it? Does that mean that you need the money to put into it? Whatever that means. It might mean all of that. It could be one of those things. It could mean something else. So when you know that, that's when you can think, okay, could I set myself maybe like a year to give this the time and energy that it needs? And if I've got responsibilities and I've got bills to pay, could I afford to maybe go part-time, or could I afford to make a sacrifice here so that it frees me up with either time and money to pursue that, so that by the end of the year I am in a position to maybe completely leave that and go full throttle into that. So that's where my hesitation is. I don't want to put people in a position where they regret their decision to follow their dreams, but I absolutely believe that you should do. And sometimes it's either practical reasons that you just need to know how to do it, or it's the overriding the sabotage, the self-sabotage, and all the outside influences that say you can't do this. Like, really? You really want to do this? Like, how are you going to do that? You know, that's the thing that you're battling with. And sometimes when you talk it with like a friend or a partner, they don't understand all the time how important that might be to you. So then you ask for advice and you kind of get shot down. That often happens. So could it be that you need to speak to a coach or surround yourself with a mentor or people that have done this, that have made this switch? Could it be that you just really explore your options and you do that research, but maybe with somebody who can fast track it and make it a bit more thorough, so that all your options are on the table and you get to choose based on your circumstances and how you feel. But also just be really aware of how easy it is to talk yourself out of something that you really, really want to do. And we've all been there. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And I can't explain to you how much I love and enjoy what I do. And that's because I followed my heart and I actually didn't listen to a lot of people. There's so much more that I want to do. If I was to share my goals for the next kind of year or two to a lot of people, that would sound ludicrous. But I know that I've got kind of more confident in trusting my instincts. So going back to the question, which was, which one was it? How can I make the switch if I've discovered a passion for something completely different? And the short answer is go for it. Just work out what you need to make that switch as successful as possible. So it's past. I feel like I need to give myself a little time now to just get in the zone. So how do I get in the zone? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do an EFT. I don't know if you're familiar with emotional freedom technique. It's a mindfulness mindset kind of technique, psychological technique, and it's to do with tapping your meridian points. It's like a meditation. I only recently discovered that, probably in the past 6 months, but I love it. Somebody called Esther Manifesta, who I follow, she's amazing. I'm going to actually share the link to her dream job EFT, and it will be really helpful, I'm sure. But yeah, it just helps me get into the zone and just tap into me and my confident side. And I'm saying to myself, I really want to enjoy it. I manifested this. I said that I wanted to do more speaking and link with more prominent agencies, recruitment agencies, and this came true. So today I'm just treating it as something that I've wanted, that I'm going to enjoy. And if you are going for an interview and this is very similar, I would say to yourself, I know I can do this job. This is an opportunity. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to enjoy the process, and I'm going to leave that interview feeling really proud that I showed who I am. And if you can say that, then you're already putting yourself in a really strong kind of laying those really strong foundations to be able to deal with whatever comes your way in an interview situation. So I hope you found this useful, and if you watch the replay or you're joining me for the career forum, then you'll know what happens behind the scenes and what kind of goes into pulling something like that off. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and if you've got any interviews coming up, go for it and just follow your heart, really. Wish me luck.